Oh, good.
Time to rock. Welcome to the channel, folks. Welcome to an extra special show here on the channel. It's a tribute show, one that we've been planning since, I suppose, guys, we found out the news that Bobby Whitlock passed away. I jumped the gun and did a bit of a tribute the day that he passed away. But I knew in the back of my mind the three of you, the three of us would get together. I'm going to plan to do another show with our American friends, but in the meantime, the three of us are here on time. Brad, why are we on time, Brad?
On time because I put a little bit of extra pressure on everyone. I thought, as you can see, my surroundings are a little different today, and I'm out and about. I'm picking up my son at 5:30 p.m. my time here, so I thought I'll rush you gentlemen on so we can get straight into the show without mucking around. No, gossiping in the green room as per usual. Yeah. But we're here and didn't want to miss a show at all, Andrew. So it's always a good thing to get the show started on time anyway, I think. So yeah.
Seeing as we're always really good at it.
Well done. The fact that we're here. Thank you, bro, for especially. Look, people, we do this because we love the music. We love hanging out with each other. It's something that we do. It's a gig for us. We're not doing this for the millions. We're not doing this for the chateaus. We're not doing this for the speedboats and the Ferraris. And, Brad's a classic example. He's doing the show on the run, looking after his family, bro. So appreciate that.
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And the Rock Professor is a man of leisure in his retirement, jumping on.
I'm definitely looking forward to the speedboats and the villa in Italy. It hasn't happened yet. I don't understand why. I'm bringing in my own accountants to peruse the books.
Well, you let me know. Actually, we're going to do a show on that one day soon. We're going to jump on the Rick Beato bandwagon. I'm going to slot that in about another 4 or 5 shows, guys, where we need to talk together about what these music companies are trying to do to eventually shows like us. We learnt the hard way, but we're not going down that rabbit hole because we've got time against us. So we're going to stick to the agenda.
Yes.
And the first thing on the agenda is Anthology 4. Boy, I was excited. I was on a couple of websites. And one guy broke the news, but it wasn't official. And he didn't know whether or not it was true or not. And I was lucky to be part of that post. I thought, oh, wow, groundbreaking. And people were jumping in and saying, no, this is AI, Simon. It was all AI generated. And then 12 hours later, the news broke. Brad, it's coming. It's coming, bro.
Beatles mania is upon us again.
I was pumped. I was very pumped. And I saw an interview with Ringo. I don't know when it was, maybe a recent one, and he was talking about there were some BBC stuff to release and stuff like that. So I don't know what the new material is, but I'm assuming it could be some of that.
We don't know. And I suppose the good thing about it, Simon and Brad, is that we'll have to get our Disney accounts up and running in November because they're going to stream 9 of those anthology videos. So as usual, after that, boys, I look forward to spending a couple of hours talking to you guys about those shows, Simon.
Do you want me to spoil it for you and tell you what the track listing is?
No, don't. No, don't. No, please don't.
It starts off with.
No. No, I don't want to know. I'm just gonna get it and I'm gonna watch it and listen to it. That's it.
Yeah, me too.
And
I'm
I'm gonna get the
deliberately
book.
staying.
I'm going to get the book as well because I believe there's a book that accompanies it. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So we'll do the best that we can without giving away track lists on the show to keep you guys informed and up to date with what's happening on that. But we do look forward to it, especially the documentary series. You know, where they're going to re-edit, remaster, 5K or 6K or 10K the footage of that great anthology DVD series that came out 30 odd years ago. Brad, what were you doing 30 years ago, Brad?
I believe I was watching it, and I remember when Free as a Bird came out and Real Love came out, and I was just, I felt in love because I loved the fact that there was new Beatles stuff emerging. I loved listening to all the rehearsal stuff in the studio, getting the songs together and the outtakes of, take one, take two, and all that stuff. I love that stuff. And the studio chatter, that's what I love. I love that stuff.
Simon, what were you doing 30 years ago when that came out?
Well, it's probably on holiday in Spain somewhere, but, as we were normally doing in August, that sort of time. But other than that, it's so long. It wasn't yesterday. I can't bloody remember. What do you think this is? The memory test.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got vivid memories because they showed the anthology series in 3 parts here in New Zealand on a Wednesday night, and on television. And I remember spending that time with some friends that I was hanging out with, watching it, and just being in awe of it. And I look forward to sharing these memories again with you guys when we watch the Disney series, because what a band, Simon.
Underrated, still underrated.
I don't know if I can agree with underrated. I think they're pretty rated pretty highly up there.
yeah, but still, what I'm saying is that they are, the greatest band ever, and I still think they're underrated. I still think that you don't quite understand the genius of the Beatles. I don't think we do quite. But I saw somebody describing them as being like 4 parts of the same person when they played and things. It was just unbelievable, that kind of synergy that they had together. As it was almost one entity with 4 heads. Yeah.
So that's one part of the shout out we got to do. Simon's got 2 quick ones, and Brad, you've got the last shout out.
Okay. Yep.
So
Simon,
I'm shouting out tomorrow is 50 years since the release of Born to Run. Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run, probably his greatest album. 50 years released tomorrow. So go and play it tomorrow and enjoy the wizardry of the mighty loose windscreen. And also this week, Ian Gillan, the great Ian Gillan from Deep Purple, was 80 years old. Scary but true. So happy birthday, Ian Gillan. 80 years old.
And on birthdays, it was Robert Plant's birthday this week as well. So happy birthday to Mr. Robert Plant. I don't know where I'd be as a musician, as a singer, or anything without Robert Plant and Ian Gillan. So there you go. Or the Beatles, for that matter.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Also, just a really quick shout out to my father, Ken Cook. I just pray and hope that he's improving, and looking forward to hopefully seeing him out of hospital. So, much love and prayers your way. Let's dive in the show, gentlemen.
Yeah. So, folks, we're not going to do a shout out at the start to you. We're going to do a shout out at the end because we've got a little bit of time against us on this show. But I suppose one of the great things that I can do is a little bit of an intro with you all, because we're going to have a bit of a round table. I've got some pics to show up too, guys. So when you guys are talking, I'll throw up some pics, and we can celebrate. But at the end of the day, there's only Derek left, Brad and Simon. All the Dominoes have passed away. It sounds like a cliche, doesn't it, guys? That all we have is the music, but gosh, what a set of recordings that they've left behind. And I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it while I'm part of this channel and while I'm alive, that, it's been a pleasure with you two guys. And I have to do a shout out to Jim, who's in the chat, because he was on board with us when we ranked the live Derek and the Dominoes, the live album.
Yeah.
But, the four of us have done some fine shows around this band, Brad and Simon, and, to settle accounts with Bobby Whitlock. We're going to spend some time talking about him and one of the greatest bands that he was ever in, Simon. Do you remember?
Anybody's have been in.
Yeah, exactly. So do you remember, Simon, when you first heard this album?
Well, it would have been then. It would have been when it came out, and I just started buying records then. So, and Layla was a big hit, and albums came after hits, didn't they, in those days? Not touring as they do now, but so no, definitely heard it then, and has always been there as a classic album, and one of the great double albums as well. So yeah, pretty much, as I said, it came out a bit before I started 71, just a bit before I started buying records, but certainly friends of mine had it. It was one of those albums you got played at parties and things. So very much part of the soundtrack of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, do you remember the first time you heard the album? And before you answer that, I just want to do a special shout out to Helene. She's given us a super chat of $14.99, $15.
Thank you.
Wonderful, Helene. Thank you for doing that and
thank you so much.
helping.
That's really nice.
Helping the channel with that donation. It's fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate it. To answer your question, Andrew, I really knew the song Layla, and I knew of a couple of the tracks from the Layla album through obviously hearing them on the radio, and I had a beautiful copy of the Cream of Eric Clapton. So obviously, I knew of Clapton's solo career as opposed to his albums with Cream. But this album in particular, when I purchased the CD and I put it on, there was a lot of tracks I'd never heard before, and it captivated me. It was a very special album to listen to for the first time, and it grew on me more and more and more. The three tracks that I've picked out are classics in my opinion, and it's just a testament to the guys in the band. They really had some chemistry and magic going on there, without a doubt. But I was probably in the early to mid 90s, Andrew, is when I got into this record. Yeah.
Look, and I know that we're going to probably repeat, Simon and Brad, what we said a couple of years ago when we did the ranking of the track show, but that doesn't stop us.
No.
That's never stopped us from going over anything. 50 or 60 times. If that's one thing we're good at, that should be one thing we're good at on this channel. Is repeating everything. And we'll get to talking about our 3 tracks soon, guys, that we've picked, and a bit of your discussion around that. But look, I've said this before, guys. I knew the Layla song because that was on the radio, and it wasn't until I was in my late teens, Simon and Brad, when I first heard this album all the way through. Understood some of the tracks, never really got it, didn't really sort of fall into place, Brad, until I was in my at least in my mid-20s, where I could sort of appreciate it. And because it's not Cream, it's not Disraeli Gears, let's be clear about that, Simon. It's not Disraeli Gears, and it's to a stage now where I would say I actually probably would prefer this album over Disraeli Gears in some kind of weird kind of way.
I totally get it.
But this album, and I've said it with a lot of albums, but I do seriously mean it, guys. This is an album that matured for me when I matured as a man. You know, I could resonate with a lot of the songs, and we didn't know a lot of that story back then, Simon. You know, with Paddy and Eric to the degree that we have that information now. You know, we didn't know a lot of, you know, it was just some girlfriend that blew him off. Oh, yeah, wow, you know. But it was actually, you know, it was a little bit more than that, wasn't it? The album was inspired by Paddy. So in a kind of interesting way, I suppose we should do a shout out to Paddy Boyd too, guys, because, you know, I don't think we would have got this album without Paddy, Simon and Brad.
Pretty spot on there, Andrew. I think, you know, in particular, there's a common theme across the whole album, and it does resonate with you as you become a little bit more mature and you have life experience. You learn from life experience of relationships and love lost and all that sort of stuff. So understanding, you know, the context of the songs and the reason he chose some of the songs as well, as covers and things like that. But for the most part, yeah, it's got a common theme across it is what I'm getting at. I don't want to sort of waffle too much, but that was, for me, the more I got into this record, the more I realized there was a common theme, and it was based around, you know, to back you up there, Andrew, Paddy Boyd.
Love, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And at the central, the three Boyd sisters, which I sort of forgotten. So,
yeah,
Patty, Paula, I can't remember what the other one's called. Patty, Paula, and there's another one beginning with P. But yeah, it's like the Mitford sisters. There's a film in there somewhere. I'm sure of it.
Oh, 100%. And again, guys, you know, I have to say, and I'll keep saying it again while we're here together. I'll never forget, you know, the time that we poured into those 3 shows that we did around this album. We've done some key albums, and we know, you know, those Beatles albums and that Get Back session. We knew we were doing something really, really special on behalf of, you know, us individually as fans, and kind of paying that back forward, Simon, in appreciation to the artists, weren't we? You know, individually, but also as a collective here. You know, because, you know, I'm not saying that we know it all when it comes to Derek and the Dominoes and Eric Clapton and Bobby and stuff like that, but we can certainly point you, if you're interested in getting some kind of information or opinions on the music, we can certainly share that, Brad, can't we?
Yeah, 100%. The 3 shows we did based on this record, I encourage everyone to go back and watch it at another point in time. Obviously not now, but and another couple of shows we did, I think it was based on All Things Must Pass, which is it's a very close related sort of album to this one, in my opinion. Another brilliant record, and we did a spectacular job on that as well, Andrew and Simon.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I'm going to jump in here, if that's okay, and interrupt you. I've spent the last 2 weeks, Brad and Simon, just going back, rewatching Coco and Bobby's channels. And the great thing about what Bobby and Coco did, Simon, is they did 7 minute, 10 minute, 15-minute shows, Simon. You know,
just one subject, didn't they? Yeah,
that's right. Stuck to the subject. They've been watching us. I think they got that idea from us.
I hope so. I hope so.
Probably not.
But I had the pleasure of just going back and wasting some time rewatching some of those videos. And you're right, Brad. And I think if that's one thing as a Derek and the Dominoes fan that I can impact on to anybody moving forward, because when I understood the key, All Things Must Pass, Derek and the Dominoes, and the first Clapton's solo album, Brad and Simon. What is it? The Simon, you call it a triumvirate.
Triumvirate.
Yes.
A trio.
Yeah.
When you understand those three albums in connection to one essence, Simon and Brad, then you appreciate, this is why All Things Must Pass sounds so great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is a phenomenal record. I mean, I've got a wonderful copy of it on vinyl as well. And, it's just a marvelous listen. When you put vinyl on, it sounds a certain way, guys, and that album in particular is made for vinyl. All Things Must Pass.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I could waffle on all day about All Things Must Pass as well.
And look, and you'll be lucky, folks, because we will be doing that on this channel at some stage. Trust me, when it comes to a celebration in and around it, we'll definitely be doing that. And Jim is right. Before I get to asking you guys another question, I just want to read. So this is one thing that we have to bear in mind too, that the album didn't do well in the charts at all, and again, Bobby's understanding and appreciation and backstory of that is wonderful in itself. But it wasn't until later on, well past its drop date, where it started to gather momentum. But like all great things, Simon, it was destined to be what it is today, wasn't it?
Yeah. For sure, yeah. I think when people found out it was Eric, they started to sell. Surprisingly, his attempt at anonymity worked to start with, but I think after a bit, word got out, didn't it, that it was Eric, and then it started to sell. But an extraordinary record of putting it together. And we all know the story of Dwayne Allman being involved and stuff, but also the depth of the I've just I've found my notes from when we did it. What amazed me was the sort of breadth of the material. Little Wing to Keys to the Highway to Layla. There's a lot of breadth in those, the styles of those tracks, acoustic stuff, straightforward blues, quite a lot of it covers, quite a lot of it to be older songs that Eric, and things like Keys to the Highway he's still playing now. So absolutely the key to his career. Sorry about that. But it's
twist on words.
Out with the cymbals. But so
and I think you've mentioned another reason too, Simon, why the album took off as well. The tragic loss of Dwayne Allman, and the Allman Brothers as a band gaining momentum, and then people locking on organically to other projects that Dwayne Allman was involved in, and finding out, oh my gosh, he was playing slide on this album, so that certainly contributed to its growth, and to a point now where here we are years and years later, still talking about it, guys. It just blows me away. Can I just share one thing with you guys and just get your thoughts on this? So when we saw the documentary 12 Bars, Life in 12 Bars, they interview Patty, and she said it herself elsewhere that when Eric played this album, she was sure that everybody at the party knew that the album was about her, because she understood clearly what it was about. And they're talking to Bobby, and Bobby's talking about how they listened to the album, and he said it was at a party and it was people coming and going anyway. So if anybody didn't know what was going on. They certainly did. The band knew what was going on, and the band knew what the album was about. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting, Brad. You know, getting Paddy's opinions too on the album.
I think she wanted to distance herself from the album for a while, didn't she?
Yes.
That was, she didn't want any connection to it. But unfortunately, time and history caught up with her, and I think, you know, she was never going to run away from it, was she?
No, but not straight away. It didn't catch up with it, did it? Not
No.
straight away. But
No,
yeah,
it took time.
Then the story got out, so to speak. Morning, Tony.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Thanks for sharing our shows on your social media account too, Tony. He said some wonderful things about us and our show on his Facebook page earlier, guys. Thank you, Tony. It means a lot.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thanks,
That's
Tony.
really cool.
Yeah.
And we should. Jim says those 3 albums mentioned released in such a short time. Yeah, when people had work ethics, didn't they? In spite of all the nonsense, you know, it's like you got on with it, didn't you? I was watching Rick Beato's interview with Glyn Johns.
Yes.
You know, and he was talking about, well, yeah, I was in the studio with the Beatles from 10 till 6, and then I went off and made another song from 6 till, and he was talking about that those few days he spent with the Beatles were like, yeah, they were in the mix of what he was doing, but it wasn't just that. It was like every day he was off to the studio for another band and another band, to record, and we know that people recorded mainly live and quickly and got on with their stuff, didn't hang around and things. And I think it's that it's that kind of work ethic and what those days could be a lesson to quite a lot of musicians now, couldn't it? Wandering into the studio with 100,000 tracks, no idea. Oh, that sounds a bit harsh, wasn't it? But you know what I mean. You go in and make an album, but you go in without any ideas, and you let the studio be the space in which you get the ideas and stuff. Whereas these guys are going in prepared and counting them off, everyone in a room. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's because the common theme in most of the records back then was the fact that a lot of bands would go in and perform them live, so that they all had to have their chops together. They had to know the songs before they went in and actually recorded them.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the time bands will go in with the song idea and not really rehearse it. They just go through it and record the parts and then piece it together a little bit. It's a little different these days, I think, unfortunately, because you get more of a classic. You get more of a classic sound, like you did with this album, Layla, and other assorted love songs. It's a real classic sounding album, but we all know it's pretty much a live record, really.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's one of the things that we have to remember. And Bobby reminded me of it the other day when I was watching one of the shows. He said that this album was recorded in only 10 days, guys. So 10 days, 2 weeks, 4 hours a day in the studio. That's an incredibly short amount of time in the studio. And he was talking about how when Dwayne came on, when they had the tracks laid down, he said it was incredible watching Eric and Dwayne talk quickly about where they were going to play their parts, and they did it only once.
Professionals, mate. That's what it comes down to.
So, as an example of how things have changed, it's not the same genre, but I was watching a Rob Chapman and he was talking about video, and he was talking about the way that him and when he was in Dorje, with Rabia Massad, the way they had 6 tracks of guitars, 2 of each, 2 clean, 2 sort of broken, and then 2 distorted. So that already you've got 6 tracks of guitar, which is probably about 5 more than they've got on Layla. 4 more they've got on Layla. And I think one of the important things is that Glenn Johns was talking about it. You only overdubbed. You didn't overdub the guitars again. You overdubbed an acoustic or overdubbed a different part or something. But pretty much what you recorded as the band playing was the basis on which you worked.
Yeah. Well, I've been in a band where we recorded that many guitar tracks that it started to all just sound like mush. There was no clarity, and I'm a big advocate for, one or two guitars. You might double a lead line, like a lead riff for a song, and then you let it breathe, and then you might put a different guitar part down as a second guitar part, and then that's it pretty much. And any other overdubs after that are more for color, not I've been down that path in a band. We spent a lot of money in the studio. We spent a lot of time doing it. It was a real disappointing outcome for me, because I listened to it and the guitars are just so squished up. There's too much. I think I like in each song I might have recorded 3 or 4 guitar tracks, and the other guitarist would record 3 or 4 on his parts, and then when we're doubling the same thing, there'd be 8 guitars playing the same riff. It's too much.
Yeah, 100%.
It's interesting, isn't it, that when I was talking to my friend Terry about Ozzy Osbourne, and we were comparing stuff, we played some early Black Sabbath tracks, and then we played some sort of from the 90s, and the kind of compression and the kind of it's like almost like listening to the 90s stuff through a letterbox kind of thing. It was just unbelievably kind of square, whereas the Sabbath stuff was huge. The guitar sound was like massive, and it had all this space to fill up, and and it did it brilliant, and it sounded fantastic. Because of that space, because you only got 3 instruments and a voice. Each one of them's got quite a lot of space to fill up if you haven't filled it up with 47 guitars.
Well, this album in particular, like the Layla album, there's a lot of musicianship on it. Each instrument's got its own space, and they were really good pictures you showed then, Andrew, too, by the way.
Yeah, I've got some more that I'm going to fire up. So I'm just looking at the time, bro. So I'm going to ask you to give us one of the bits of homework we had to do during the week in preparation for the show, folks. We made it easy for us, so we discounted Layla, the song off the album, in our top 3, because we would have picked that. But I have no idea what the Rock Professor has picked. I have no idea what the Backdoor Man has picked. So, Brad, do you want to give us your 3 key songs off this album, and why, please?
In consecutive, each one? You want me to go off and rattle the first?
Yeah.
So the first one for me, it's actually my favorite song on the album. It's more important to me than Layla. Bell Bottom Blues. I think it's Eric Clapton's lead vocal on it is, you can hear the ache and vulnerability in his voice. The lyrics on it, do you want to see me crawl across the floor? I mean, it just, you know straight away what it's about, obviously because of the backstory, but I think everybody in their adult life has been through something where you feel that sort of pain. It's incredible, and he put it into the song. But the wonderful thing is they captured that within the music as well. That sort of despair and vulnerability. I love his lead guitar work on it, and really Dane Allman really isn't on the track. I don't believe he's on the track, is he? But the tone of it, everything, there's so much going on there, and it kind of feels full because there's so much texture in the recording. It's wonderful. The bass line and the drums, I mean, it's just perfect. And Bobby Whitlock on keyboards, and and in the background with the sort of harmonic bed sort of thing, he's doing like that church sort of thing with the keyboards, but provides that subtle harmony as well vocally, which lifts the emotional weight of the song. I think it's it's a well written song. I mean, it's drenched in sort of pain. You know, you can feel the pain through the song, and I think it's probably my favorite song on the album, guys, without a doubt.
No problem.
The second one I picked was quite an easy one as well. Keep On Growing. I don't know. You guys have probably picked these as well, I'm sure, or close to them anyway. But I mean, Clapton and Whitlock, they share the vocals on this one, which is why I picked it, because it's got that rich call and response vibe. I mean, you know, Bobby Whitlock's got a soulful voice. I think it gives it that gospel edge too, the way they're singing on it. And I think Clapton's playing on this one is there's a bit of funkiness going on there, and there's a lot of sort of scattered textures throughout with the guitar. Obviously, no, Dane Allman's not on that one, guys. I know that, but I picked this song because of, you know, Bobby Whitlock, and he's got the vocal edge on this one as well. I think the drums, the bass, everything on it. It's one of the album's sort of looser jam orientated songs. I reckon this was probably born in the studio. It's got a spontaneity sort of feel to it, and I just think it shows where, you know, the Dominoes weren't just like Clapton's backing band; they were actually a group, and that the dual vocal thing made them, you know what I mean? It felt like it was a real band in this song, not just about Eric Clapton. And again, it was a fantastic sort of highlight for me on the record the first time I heard it, and then even to this day when I listen to it today, you know, it just blows me away how fantastic it is. And my third one is Tell the Truth. I remember seeing Clapton play this in 2007 or 8, whatever. I think he might have even opened the set with it from memory, live in Sydney in the Entertainment Centre. But it's just a wonderful song. And again, Clapton and Whitlock trading vocals on it. It's very soulful, and the vocal interplay, obviously, you know, it's fitting for the theme of the record as well, because it's like asking about honesty in a relationship. The theme is what I'm picking up there, so it's pretty cool there. Clapton and Dane Allman shine on this one. I mean, Allman's slide guitar is epic. Clapton's playing is gritty, and there's like that swirly hypnotic guitar dialogue going on there. I've just got a few people crossing path behind my car, so sorry about that, guys. That little do they know they're actually being streamed on YouTube. I tried to park somewhere so no one would get on camera, but sorry about that.
You would get their permission, Brad. You've got go on.
No, we only got the back of their heads. It's all right.
That's all right.
And I just think that the whole song, I mean, Whitlock's Hammond, I mean, I'm talking about Bobby because, you know, I want to relate it back to him because it's sort of like my little tribute to him. But I think Bobby's Hammond swells and everything reinforce that gospel bluesy feel. But it just, you know, it feels like a real band here. It's not just Eric Clapton solo. It's a real band. The whole band. You know, they sound muscular. They sound soulful. They sound like they've been doing it a long time together too. It doesn't sound like a newer band. It sounds like they've been together 20 years. You know what I mean? So they were my three guys, and I hope that I didn't waffle too much. I want to leave enough space for you guys if you've picked them as well. But I could have picked any three guys. I love all the tracks. You know, yeah. I'll wait and see what you gentlemen say. But there was a few other ones I juggled with, but they were my first three picks, and I just went, I'm just going to go with them. So
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, and I appreciate your honesty with the songs and relating it back, because that's one of the great things about talking about music, isn't it, Simon? Is you know, your understanding and appreciation of it. So this is the Rock Professor's time, and before the Rock Professor kicks off with his three favorite songs off the album, I invite you in the chat. We've got Hugh Caldwell here, some good dear friends. We've got Jim in here. A lot of Derek and the Domino nuts in here. Give us your 3 favourite tracks off Layla. And you guys are allowed to include the song Layla. It's just that we weren't.
Favoritism.
Hey, Monty.
Today.
Monty.
And you can, if you're having trouble with picking 3, you can add the word today after this. Today, these are my 3 favorites. Tomorrow, they could be different.
Simon, your 3, please.
So, okay. So I confined myself to tracks written by Clapton and Bobby Whitlock. I didn't. So I could have picked maybe Little Wing. I could have picked Keys to the Highway, which I think has been such a staple of Eric's career up until now. Still plays it now. Was it 55 years later? He's playing it. So I didn't pick any of those. So no, of course, that means that I picked pretty much the same as Brad. I picked Bell Bottom Blues as well. I agree. I think it's a fantastic, it's a fantastic song. It's got great guitar solos on it with nice, but I think the real thing it shows is that it's Clapton and Whitlock, and that dual singing bit, and that it kind of really points to the fact that Whitlock singing over Clapton's vocals really make these songs something different, and they really such an integral part of a lot of these songs. The way that he does that, and the way that he plays his organ as well. That you can't. That's what you're looking for, and I think that it really points it to being a sort of creatively equal partnership. Hence the writing credits. But for me, that's what he brings to it. He brings this kind of voice over the top that really fits Eric's voice, and those 2 voices together when they sing together is a fantastic thing, and right up there with the Duane Allman slide guitar bits, which are fantastic as well. But I think it's for me, that's what's fantastic about Bell Bottom Blues. That they do that, and that singing, and as you say, Brad, it's a fantastic song, isn't it? And the passion in it, comes through every note and every syllable. So my second choice was Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? Again, a Clapton Whitlock song. As I confine myself to those, much sort of faster rocker, but again, the vocals are in there, and it's also got some you got some Duane Allman on there as well, and he does make this, make some great contributions to this album. But again, in the style of the theme of the album, again, for me, another great track, and one I'll never get tired of. My third one was like you, Brad. My third one was Keep On Growing. A simple message, but a message that is relevant to us all, whatever stage of life we're in, really. And again, great singing, great impassioned singing, and you've got the twin guitar tracks at the end, which are fantastic too. But again, a fantastic song, and as I say, I confine my choices to ones co-composed by Bobby. So you can imagine them getting around this and putting it together. Great shuffle, great groove on it as well. Yeah. So those are my 3.
Good choices.
That's my 3 for today. Tomorrow it could be different.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Thanks, Simon. So Morty's Diners picked Layla. I looked away on Bell Bottom Blues. Our dear friend Jimmy's picked Little Wing and Have You Ever Loved a Woman and Any Day. So look, guys, you'll be pleased to know that the songs I picked aren't the songs that you picked. I didn't pick any criteria, guys. I just picked the songs, that that I love, that had a special meaning for me. So the first song I picked, guys, is "Key to the Highway." For a lot of reasons. The main reason was that's the first song that I learnt to play. Well, one of the first songs, Brad, early songs that I learnt to play all the way through. And I've said this before and shared it with you guys. I remember when I did that, I felt like I had accomplished something that, when I was this young guy I didn't know anything about 12-bar blues or 8-bar blues, Simon, or anything like that. I didn't know. Somebody showed me how to play it, and this is where you change the chords, and away I went. So for me, that will always have a special bond to that song. And obviously the story about how they're jamming, in the studio. I love that. They're just jamming, and Tom Dowd's in the bathroom, and he's hearing this noise, this sound, this music, Brad and Simon and folks in the chat, and he's going, "What the heck is that?" I'm sure he didn't say "what the heck." I'm sure he must have said some other words.
Flaming heck is that?
Yeah. What the flaming heck is that? And went and pressed the record buttons and captured it. And we can say that is not an urban myth. Around this album, that is exactly what happened. So I love that, and and I just think it's great. It's a great song. The second song, guys, I've picked is "Have You Ever Loved a Woman?" I just think it's incredible. I love all versions that Clapton has done with the song over the years, but the pain, especially in his voice. When he's singing that those first verses, Brad, he ain't making that up, bro. It's like what you said. Can I, should I crawl across the floor for you? And he's, falling in love with another man's woman.
With his best friend.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Who ever loved a woman and you can't leave her alone when he sings that? Amazing.
And that's exactly what that's exactly what he was infatuated by her. So I love it. And obviously the tone that Clapton was using a little Fender Champ, 5-watt Fender Champ back then, mic'd incredibly well by the engineers and by Tom Dowd. That incredible sound off these little lamps with a Stratocaster. Brad and Simon, we've all got Strats, little tweed amp.
To strat or not to strat.
Oh, beautiful. They captured magic. Good choices, guys. Great choices.
And also back to kind of his blues breaker roots, isn't it? Because it's first recorded by Freddie King. So
correct. And my last song, guys, was always a song that made me feel, Simon and Brad, a little bit of melancholy. And it was a song, that I thought that they recorded after Jimmy's death, but didn't realize until later on, or actually the album was recorded and the song was recorded while Jimmy was still alive, was Little Wing. I just think it's an incredible song. Jim's picked it too as well. I just think it's incredible, that introduction, the way it's played. And again, Brad and Simon, I remember learning how to play those 3 chords in that intro. And again, you're thinking, wow, is that sound is just 3 chords? It can't be.
Yes, it can.
Do you remember? Do you remember, guys, when someone's how can that noise just be 3 chords? But it is, I just think it's incredible. So when I listen to that song moving forward now, because Bobby has said some great things about that song when he was alive, besides thinking about Jimmy, I'll think about Bobby Whitlock moving forward, because just Bobby thought that song was fantastic, when it was recorded. So those are my 3 songs, gentlemen, and it's been a pleasure as ever sharing them with you.
Well done.
Yeah, excellent choices.
Well done.
But today that could be different, couldn't they? Today you could choose something different. You know, it's,
It could have been Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out. It could have Any
Yeah.
Day, you know, Bell
Yeah.
Bottom Blues. It could have-
Yes,
I picked
know.
Any
Yeah, I could
Day.
have chosen
I
Keys
picked
to the
Any Day
Highway.
as a possibility, but I just went with the first three.
Mort's made a comment here saying it's impossible to pick 3 songs, and I've defended us by picking 3 songs on this show by saying, well, actually, we've done 3 songs, Mort, talking about every single song. We've done 3 shows talking about every single song. So, you know,
Yeah.
I just want you to know that we do the hard yards on this channel too, Mort. We just don't sit here and just pick 3 songs.
No. We did 3 episodes on this, didn't we, Simon and Andrew?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a big effort.
I think it's the. I don't think we did 3 episodes on the Led Zeppelin song remains the same, didn't we? But yeah, it's well. As I say, my proviso was these are my 3 songs today. Tomorrow they'll be different, which is cheating, of course. But who said we couldn't?
To be fair though, Brad, the first show we did was talking about the backstory because we all love the story. So, when we're all past and gone and a social historian is going through, writing the 5th biography on Bobby Whitlock, they'll be talking about, this is what the Rock Professor said at 7:21.
I don't think so myself.
And we all want some money for it too.
Yeah. Yes, from beyond the grave. Send money from beyond the grave.
Yes. 100%.
Dear. But
good choices, gentlemen. Very, very hard to pick 3. I mean, it was easy for me to pick 1, which was Bell Bottom Blues, because that for me is the highlight of the record. I just love that track. I don't know why. Just one of those songs
that, bro. I knew you picked that because I know that you love it.
I just know for some reason every time that song comes on, I just stop what I'm doing to listen to it until it's finished. I just love it.
Well done.
Classic 4-piece, isn't it? Just doing what they do.
Beautiful.
And it kind of fits in really nicely with the live at the Fillmore, which is basically just the 4 of them, isn't it? Just playing in there, and how brilliant that is. And this is the sort of recorded version of that, and I think it comes off brilliantly.
So, guys,
one of my favourite guitar solos that Clapton does too, I think, in that song. Yeah,
awesome. I've picked an honourable mention as well. Coming in last, guys, I've picked Too Late. And the reason why I've picked Too Late is because we have this wonderful video on YouTube of the Derek and the Dominoes playing it on the Johnny Cash show live. One of the few live footages we have of the band, and it's just incredible. I know that we spent a lot of time dissecting this, Brad and Simon, but look at that Fender amp, straight into a Fender amp with a wah-wah, no pedal, straight in there.
Yep.
And if you notice too, you see Carl is standing right behind Jim Gordon. He was supposed to be standing on the floor next to Clapton. That's originally where they had him, but he couldn't hear Jim because he wanted to play, obviously being the bass player, Brad and Simon, in time. So the only way that he could do that is to stand by him so that he could look and see what he was doing with this kick drum, Brad and Simon. So that's why he's standing behind him in the back there. Otherwise, he would be next to Clapton. That's the original plan.
That's unreal, isn't it? The importance of getting it right as opposed to how it looks,
I think, bro, you've just nailed it on the head. Exactly. How many bass players would spit the dummy because they couldn't be standing next to the lead singer and the lead guitarist these days?
I need to stand next to the drummer.
Don't forget about me. But you find a lot of bass players back in this day. I mean, you only got to look at sort of all the classic bands. The bass player would always end up next to the drums.
100%.
if that's their only job was to play bass without vocals or whatever, they'd always end up back up next to the drums just so they could hear what's going on. Yeah. Great album cover. I love this album. It's one of those ones you could get the album cover framed, I reckon. It's a great
yeah.
Which I think I might actually do that at some point. I think it's a great idea.
I have to do it too, bro. You've been telling me to do that for the last 5 years. Every time we do a show talking about this, you say, do it, Andrew.
Just do it, mate. Just get a copy of it.
And then he doesn't.
Just find a print of it. Google it, find a print, order it, and then frame it.
Mate, I've got 3 copies of it here somewhere. I'll just grab the roughest copy I've got and take that sleeve out and use that sleeve.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Can I do one other little thing while we've got Jimmy here in the chat, guys? So, you know that we love making references to other mediums. So obviously we'll ask you to please go and check out the 12 Life in 12 Bars documentary. Clapton spends a bit of time talking about this period. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really interesting. I want to thank Jim for sending me a copy of this PDF book that came out that's not published anymore, and I don't know why. It's called Layla, Derek and the Dominoes, and other assorted love songs, written by a lady called Jan Reed. It's fantastic. It's incredible. It goes on about the history of the band. And also I want to do a shout out to the Rock Professor, because we were doing a show and the Rock Professor alerted me to this book here before it was published. A guy called Kenneth Womack, Harrison and Clapton. So it talks about the relationship that these guys had with what Brad was talking about earlier, All Things Must Pass, and how that house band went on and formed the Dominoes. So some good information out there if you want to sort of deep dive and find out what's going on by people, Brad and Simon, who know what the F they're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Always good to get it from the people that know what they're talking about. Not like us.
Well, and I think that's bringing it back. That was the beauty of Bobby Whitlock's YouTube channel. Is that he was able to clarify, clear up, put his side of the story on so many of these things that it had really got lost in the mists of time, hadn't they? History didn't relate really his crucial role in Derek and the Dominoes, All Things Must Pass. And it's only as I say recently with him sitting down with Coco, his wife, and doing those interviews and talking about those albums, that you get an insight into his key role into these fantastic records, and him, Jim Keltner, and Carl Radle, those 3 guys form the backbone to the most extraordinary records, really,
yes.
and done, as Jim said, in such a short time. Just Jim Gordon, not Jim Keltner. Sorry, why am I talking about Jim Gordon? The other Jim. But those 3 guys form the basis of these amazing records. And Bobby's input into Derek and the Dominoes, I think, really grew and got clarified by those interviews that he did with Coco. Her asking him.
Yeah, 100%. And there's one thing that again I'd like to remind folks of, and we discussed this at some length, guys. Not in the Derek and the Dominoes show, but on an intro of a show that we were doing, and I don't know what it was, but we were talking about how Bobby was listening to the 40th anniversary remix, and he was quite upset about how the guitar, Clapton's guitar and vocals, were pushed forward compared to all the other previous releases, where everybody was in a line, everybody was being given the sound equally. But on the latest release, Clapton's guitar and his vocals are pushed forward. And I tell you what, I said to you guys, I went and listened to it. He's 100% correct.
Mm.
Yeah. See, well, that's history intervening, isn't it? And kind of, and changing the discourse to, so that it becomes more Eric's album and less Eric and Bobby Whitlock's album, really.
Yeah.
And I think everybody talks about Dwayne Allman's contribution, and sure, he made a fantastic, to me, he sprinkled the fairy dust on it, but actually without the substance of the songs that Whitlock and Clapton wrote together, and Whitlock's input into it, he wouldn't have had something substantial to sprinkle the fairy dust on, would he?
That's right.
No. And again, guys, I'm just looking at the time. I'm mindful we're going to be wrapping up soon. So, I remember Coco was saying to Bobby, how did it end? What led to the end? And he said, after spending a whole day in the studio listening to Gordon tune his drums, he had 12 drums in there, and the bass player was the keys, and Bobby was hitting the key, and the whole day they were there. And then Eric, after he did this, Eric turned around and said to the guys, okay, because he was polite. He's an Englishman. The rock professor reminds us of that often. He's English. He's polite. Turned around and said to these Americans, well, are we going to do some work now? And Jim Gordon said, okay, yeah. So they got together, and Eric spends, Brad, 30 seconds tuning his Strat.
Yeah.
And Jim Gordon turns around and says to him, do you want me to tune it for you? And Eric Clapton took his Stratocaster off, put it down, and never came back.
Yeah, see, straws that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I think Eric was a very what's the word I'm trying to come up with? Back then he was a very quirky guy, and things like that would have probably they would have broke the camel's back, like you said, Simon, and made him want to just walk away from it. He was a quirky guy. He had a lot going on, I think, Eric Clapton.
A lot of drugs and stuff.
Yeah, but time changes all that. So thankfully Eric's a little bit different to that now, but at the time but he was a young guy too. Eric was still a young man at this point in his career, so
for sure. Yeah, completely. But it's a sort of thing. It's funny, isn't it? To me, that's the sort of thing that you'd say in a band context that you wouldn't say in any other context. You wouldn't start doing that at work, would you? You absolutely wouldn't start doing that sort of thing at work. But somehow you would do it in a band situation. That doesn't make it, in my world, doesn't make it right. Jim, knock it off, mate.
I think a band is, it's more of it's like a group trying to paint a picture. So there's a lot of artistry involved and a lot of egos because everyone thinks they've got an opinion that's worth listening to. So the minute that something upsets someone like Eric, he would have, I don't need this, I can do it on my own, sort of thing, and he would have walked away from it. But thank God we got
cream.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, we got this masterpiece of an album, thankfully, to put on, and I'm sure he listens back now if he ever listens to it, and probably proud of the work that was done on it. And history changes things as you go along. He probably would sit back and go, oh, maybe I should have done this, but I guess it's no regrets in life. You just got to get on with it.
Well, when he toured with, I think in 2007, 2008 in the States, he did a tour, and Derek Trucks was playing slide with him then.
Yeah.
And they did a couple any day. They did a couple of tracks off this album, and and Derek is spending a lot of time with Eric, and there's interviews there on around the YouTube where where he's talking about that, because he wanted to find out what was going on, what the juice was behind this album, to the point where not long after lockdown they did a tribute album where they recorded the Layla, the Tedeschi Trucks Band, did this whole Layla album that we need to do a show on, guys. Maybe not necessarily rank the tracks, but do a show on talking about
it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Talking about their because it's a darn good album.
Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, I'm going to leave you guys to do the housekeeping, if that's okay. And,
all right, brother.
I'm going to go pick up my son. He's just texted me saying, "Where am I? Where are you, Dad?"
He wants to go and get him some dinner.
I will. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you everyone
brother.
in the chat. And I will talk to you guys next week.
God bless.
Rock and roll.
God
See you
bless.
later.
See ya.
See you later. Bye.
Awesome.
And
So I just want to remind. Yeah. And then there were two. So I just want to remind you folks that we'll be back on the channel with the Backdoor Man and the Rock Professor next week. We've decided, if you aren't up to date with the channel news, we're going to do the first 7 songs on Me and Mr. Johnson by Eric Clapton that came out a few years ago. It's his tribute album to Robert Johnson. And Simon, that's been on our to-do list for years. We keep talking about doing that.
One of hundreds of records that we've got on our list.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we're going to spend some time doing that. Now, there's 14 tracks on there, so we're going to do 7. And we've decided that we're going to split it up to 2 shows because we want to, spend a bit of time talking about the album, because it's an important period, again, in Clapton's life, recording this album, but also the film that came out of them recording a lot of these songs that's available as well. So we want to talk about that. So I look forward to that, Simon.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Yeah. I've been listening to it this week. It's great, isn't it? It's you get that thing about you going to the studio to do one thing and then it doesn't really work. So you're just sitting around playing, and again, I'll go back to it. What I always do: a load of people, a band in a room playing some songs, has a vibe and has a feel about it that you can't get by everybody in separate rooms and click tracks and things. I don't think it's the same thing at all.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. If you've seen the film, it's pretty cool. Clapton turns up in, I think, a Porsche. He turns up in a Porsche, and he says, "Is everybody here? Is everybody here?" And they go, "Yeah." And so he walks into the was a barn or something like that, which is a studio, and everyone's there, and they're into it.
Yeah, and that's really cool, isn't it? That like you get a real insight into the vibe of how it was done, and I think that's why I think that the good night, Gretch. Thanks for staying up, mate. Take care.
Cheers, brother. Thanks, Gretch, as ever.
Yeah. I mean, the latest interview with Glenn Johnson, Rick Beato did, has contained some really interesting insights into, him saying, we always get a band to play in the room together, always, and I want that dynamic. I want them to speed up and slow down. And so if you haven't seen it, it's well worth a look, because it's got some great stuff about talking of tuning drums. It's got the contrast between Glyn John said that that John Bonham was just a brilliant tuner of drums. He really understood how to tuning drums to the song and stuff. Whereas Keith Moon just tightened them all up, so they really went boing. So they had tremendous attack, but not tuned in the same way at all. It's
yeah. No, it's a really great interview. I would love to pop on for an album review again, mate. Hugh, no problem.
Hugh, yes, choose an album. We'd love to have you on. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Take your pick. Flick us. Yeah, we're in communication. We've got that little secret little chat going on.
secret chat group. Yeah. We're like the US government administration, aren't we? With our secret WhatsApp group, where we're sharing battle plans.
Yeah. If you want to do a review, or if you want to come on and join us next week, let us know.
Yeah.
The choice is yours, brother. So,
yes,
Rock Professor,
whatever you like. That's fantastic. Yeah. You know us. We're anything, we go for anything. If you want to do an album with us, do you want to do Mr. Johnson next week? That's fine. If you want to do something fresh, then that's fine too. Whatever you'd like, and that applies to everyone else watching too. You need to flick us a message and tell us what your album is, and please come on and we'll do it. We'll guide you through it. Yeah.
All right, Simon, do you want to?
Fantastic. I'll do a shout out to everyone.
All our fine folks.
Hugh as well. So next week, yes, Hugh says. Okay, Hugh, no worries. You know what we're doing. First 7 tracks of me and Mr. Johnson. Off we go. So fantastic. We've got another review. So we look forward to that, Hugh. Jazz Thunder 50, Jim. Thank you Jim. Thanks for joining us and enjoying your Blues Power cover on Facebook yesterday. Excellent stuff. Gretch as well, who's gone to bed. Well done, Gretch. Hopefully we relaxed you into a good night's sleep. Ellen as well. Ellen told. Thanks, Ellen. Hope everything's good with you. And thanks for coming. Lots of Hugh stuff. Jim, Helene O'Hara. Helene, thank you so much for you, and thanks for the super chat. I'm very generous of you. That was amazing. Tony Bone.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for all your great comments as well. Morty's Diner. That's somebody else, and I can't remember who it is. I can change the names. So Morty's Diner. Thanks for joining in. Johnny Thunder's Heartbreakers. Thanks, Johnny Heartbreaker for joining in. Hugh, Ellen. Let's go back up to the beginning. Jazz Thunder, Gretch. So Ellen. Yeah, I think that's everybody who made a comment. We've got 14 watching now. So thank you so much, guys, and everyone who's watching and enjoying the show. Yeah, and we'll be back next week for more Eric Clapton, but modern Eric Clapton with me and Mr. Johnson, with a special guest, Hugh Caldwell.
Yeah. We had 17 people at one stage on the show watching us. So as ever, we appreciate that. If you're one of the lucky ones that have watched to the end and gone, oh my gosh, they're only here for an hour and 12 minutes. Yes, that's correct, an hour and 12 minutes. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. When I went live, just before I went live, I subscribed to 3 channels back. So we are slowly getting subscribers, and we do subscribe back. So please share our link on your social media links. Thanks, Morty, as well, for your great comments, and everybody. You know who you are, and Helene for the super chat.
Yeah, that's really, and Brad's in the chat. I hope you're getting Elvis to type this, Brad, not typing it yourself while you're driving.
Yeah. And I want to thank Johnny Heartbreaker and Hugh Caldwell for being channel subscribers that are in the chat here guys. Live.
Fantastic.
And really also nice the Rock Professor for his subscription too. So thank you guys, because it certainly helps ease the financial costs of running this channel. I
said it before. I look at it on like I don't know if you have this in New Zealand, but here, if you join a sports club, your local sports club, village football team or something, then every week you have to pay subs to keep the club going. That's what I do. I have to pay subs every week to keep the band together.
Yeah, so we certainly appreciate your contribution, because it just makes it a little bit easier on the wallet here, because if you're interested, I have done a video. If you are interested, I have done a video on the channel a couple of months ago, which gives you a bit of an idea of the costs. So we do this certainly for the love of the music. for hanging out with each other and talking about an important part of our lives, which is growing up with this music, Simon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did you? I bet you did. Did you know this? That I came across a YouTube channel that had sold his back catalogue to a company. So basically, everything, all the videos he'd made up until I'll make it up, but April 2025, he'd sold the rights to those and therefore the earnings to a company. So for a sum of money, I think like £750,000, something like that, he'd sold them for. So we're open to offers from equity companies for our back catalogue. It may take you a few years to earn any money back from them, but still.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, lovely. Take care, all. We'll see you next week with you. Have a great week. Take care. Take it away, boss.